Hi, welcome to the Russ and Vince Courtside Podcast. I'm your host, Vince. Before we go into the video, please hit that like and subscribe button down below if you enjoy our videos. Let's get right into it.
Let's get right into it indeed. What is good, gang, gang? It's your boy and your host Vince here with your boy Russ here to talk all things basketball. It's good to be back on the mic here. We got a lot of great games, great playoffs starting out so far. Today's video is going to be focused primarily on the Wolves and the Warriors matchup. Very exciting stuff to come, especially after a game seven we were all in a treat to watch. We got a chance to see Steph Curry and the Warriors be able to get past the Rockets. I don't even really know what to say about that one, man. I kind of was pulling for the Rockets, but Steph is just Steph, man. You got to put some respect on that man's name. But nonetheless, man, like I said, it's your boy, it's your host Vince. Here's your boy Russ. How we doing today, Russ?
Well, I'm excited to cover this series because the Wolves, man, and the Warriors is gonna be it's gonna be cinema, man. I mean, there's been some beef brewing all year, and it's I'm kind of like lopsided. I'm like, I always want the Warriors to lose, and I didn't think I'd want the Wolves to lose. But like this year, because the Wolves, kind of threw us away, the Lakers, in the first round, I'm like more susceptible now to think, all right, like got to pick and choose. Curry closer to getting a fifth ring, or seeing Ant Man turn into a small ant and disappear. It's a toss up for me. So, but I think what I'm gonna go with though is I don't know. Are we
Now, now,
going with?
now. Hold on for those predictions, my friend. Hold on, because we are
Okay,
going to
okay,
get to
okay.
that indeed. What I do want to start us off with is just some quick information. So, you guys, we are recording this live right now, May 5th at about 11:30 p.m. So, we have had the privilege of seeing some of these other games so far, and this is the last game in the second round that has yet to start. So by the time this recording comes out, it will be on the day of the actual game. But just know we're doing and recording this before. So any injuries that we're not aware about, just keep in mind this is why. First and foremost, man, just a quick preview of what had just happened from both the Warriors and the Wolves in that first round. I mean, the Wolves what that tell on the Lakers. We already know the story. Go check out the previous videos. I don't want to talk too much about it because unfortunately it still pains me as a Laker fan to know that we're out. But we learned a lot from that series. For example, we learned that Anthony Edwards, he is the real deal. We also learned that Julius Randle, he has another gear to himself. We also learned that the Wolves have a lot of size, something that we all knew, but they definitely exploited a lot in that first round, and predictions are they're going to probably exploit that in this round as well. But yeah, man, the Wolves they're looking good right now. They got the momentum. They got the home court. Game one tomorrow, May 6th. Tune in. As for the Warriors, I mean, what else is there to say? Steph is Steph. Dre is Dre. The Warriors are still worrying in, and which is winning. And a lot of us weren't really sure the outcome in terms of this series with the Rockets. A lot of people thought that the Rockets were still a little bit too young, still too inexperienced to be able to get past a team like the Warriors, but the Warriors still managed to find a way to pull it out in a game seven. One could argue it shouldn't have even gone to a game seven if, Draymond was able to cool his emotions in that game six, but he did talk about that. And that's definitely something we're going to be talking about in today's video because we are definitely in a treat for this matchup. But nonetheless, man, one of the trends that we've noticed so far in this second round playoffs, both on the East and the West Coast, beg my pardon, is the road team has won every single game from the Pacers Cavs game to the Nuggets Thunder game, all the way to the Boston Celtics and the Knicks game. Every single top seed has actually gone down today. So the question I present to you so far, Rue, that I want to ask, do you think this is a series where the road team strikes again in game one? Do we see a world where The Warriors go into Minnesota after just playing 48, maybe not even full 48 hours ago, and they go into Minnesota and take game one just like a lot of these other teams win. What are your thoughts?
All right, first off, big brain right there. Big brain. That was some really good insight right there. I didn't really put that together because I'm just so into the game. I'm like, I'm watching my kids and stuff like that. So I'm kind of like watching the games. But um, that is interesting that the road teams have won it. My fiance not so happy about the Celtics part of it, but it's okay. She's still Celtics in 5. Um, I think that the Warriors, I feel like they do pull it out in Minnesota. I mean, Ant's not ready for that matchup. I mean, who's guarding Steph? Like actually like in the game. Is it Ant-Man?
Well, if we were to look into the lineups, I would definitely assume that there's going to be times where Anthony Edwards is going to be taking the responsibility of guarding Steph. I also do think that just like the Rockets had attempted to do initially, it's going to be more of a team effort. It's not going to be one primary ball defender the whole time that's going to be staying on Steph because the Warriors' offense is a motion offense where a lot of it has to do with Steph and a lot of the other players getting a lot of pick and roll, not just pick and rolls, but a lot of cuts, a lot of picks and then sets off those screens, things like a lot of action plays. So there's not really any one particular player that I think is going to have the responsibility solely to try to guard Steph. I do think that to start the game, it's probably going to be more McDaniels. I think that exactly what the Wolves did to the Lakers, they're going to attempt to try to do to Steph. Put a lot of length on the ball, put a lot of on-ball pressure. We might even be seeing a lot of like full court pressure, similar to what they did
Mhm,
to Luka. There was a lot of times that McDaniels was involved in a lot of defensive actions with Luka
mhm,
from the very beginning of the inbound 98 feet or 92 or whatever how many feet away it is, but McDaniels was always the first person to pressure the ball, and then from there the rest of the team had his back. Not to mention you do have the 7'1" Superman in disguise as Rudy Gobert apparently out there protecting the paint. And although the Warriors are not really that known for, really their paint play for the most part, it is helpful to be able to know that if you're going to try to force them away from shooting threes most of the time, all you got to do is just bring them in, bring them to the paint, let Rudy go ahead and do what he specializes in, which is at least affect the play. He might not get the block initially, but he is going to at least affect the initial drive to at least entice the Warriors to want to kick it out or just force a bad shot. But yeah, I mean, in terms of stopping Steph, it's not going to be easy for sure. It's definitely going to be a collective team effort in order to get that type of job done. But like I said, I want to know a little bit from you in terms of what you think. In terms of, do you really think the Warriors have this game won, or do you think this is a situation where this is going to be that one game where the Wolves come out? Because one of the stats that I saw primarily is the teams that lost were all the top 1 and 2 seeds. Well, in this particular matchup, as unique as it is, they're not a 1 or 2 seed. This is actually um, the only matchup outside of the Thunder, which I mean, they do have the Nuggets who are the 4 seed, but this is the only series where it's not a top 4 seed in. It's the 6 and the 7 seed, which just goes to show how strong the West is. So, I mean, if you want my opinion, I actually think that the Wolves are going to try to assert themselves pretty well. I think this is a game where the Wolves don't want to play those games. They have been rested because they got rid of the Lakers so fast. They've had the privilege and opportunity of being able to see how the Warriors' style of play is. Not that they haven't seen it before all year long, but they haven't played against this year's Warriors team with Jimmy Butler. All the games that they played in the past were without Jimmy Butler. So this is going to be a first time really experience, not only for them playing against the Warriors with Jimmy Butler, but also us as fans seeing what Jimmy Butler and the Warriors look like now compared to without him. But I do think that the Wolves come on top in this first game. I think that they don't want to play games. I think that they show up, their fans show up. I think that it's very clear that you know the bench really matters. They're about 8 deep compared to the Warriors, who still tried for some reason to say that they're 9 or 10 deep, but they're really not if we really want to keep it a stack. Um, but I do think that this is a game where it's going to be won not just by the star players. I actually think that this is going to be a game where either McDaniels goes off for 25 plus points, like he's shown us to be capable of doing against the Lakers, or it's going to be one of those games where you see like the bench really kind of take over, especially in those non-Curry moments where you have someone like Naz Reid assert himself with his size and his perimeter shooting ability. You see Dante with his great perimeter defense, his hustle plays, and then also again his timely three-point shooting. And then of course, like I said, you got your regular cast of players. You got Randall, you got Ant Edwards. I think that overall this is going to be a great team win. I think the Wolves are probably going to take game one. What are your thoughts though?
Oh, my bad. Well, what I think is Anthony Edwards taking out legends like Thanos is collecting freaking rings, man. I mean, geez, this guy's just taking out everybody. But I mean, it's like Steph is the final boss over here. I mean, he destroyed the Lakers, the Nuggets, KD. I mean, shoot, who else is left, man? Um, I just think that the Warriors are more in a rhythm right now and take over game one because Steph loves those away arenas. Like he ignites. Um, I wonder if the small ball, because it definitely didn't work for the Lakers. We know that, but we didn't really have the shooting, I want to say, compared to the Warriors. And so I guess my thing would be is I think that the Warriors have always dominated the small ball thing over the years. I think that they really kind of take that and honestly, I feel like they actually do take Rudy Gobert out of the game. I mean, it's just eventually you're gonna have Steph Curry on, Rudy, and it's just like it's almost like a Luka situation, but like Steph Curry can actually move, he's a lot quicker. Um, but it's gonna be an exciting game. I mean, just knowing that the Warriors and how like prolific their offense can be. Their defense hasn't actually been that bad. I mean, this guy Quentin Post or whatever, he's actually he's putting in some solid work, and we already know Draymond's going to go WWE on these guys. He's about to do everything possible to try to get this win. Um, I think they're going to punch him. I think that the Warriors are going to punch the Wolves in the mouth and show them just how different the Lakers versus the Warriors series is going to be. Um, so my thought is, or my question to you, Vince, is who do you think has a better chance of, you know, having a better game one? Is it Anthony Edwards, Steph Curry, Jimmy Butler? Who do you think?
Yeah, man, that's a great question. Um, I would definitely say you know what? Call me a homer. Yes, I'm a Lakers fan, but man, I just love basketball. That's the whole reason why we got this channel, and that's why we're talking about other teams, other players, because we love basketball. And it's something about Anthony Edwards. It's like we talked about this before off camera. It is so annoying to be a fan of the team that Anthony Edwards destroys because all we heard after he demolished Luka and LeBron and the Lakers in 5 games was Lakers in five. Oh, wait. And then when we went up 3-1, guess what they were saying then? Lakers in seven. Like, he is not a guy you want to play with. And I just think that even though he's still young, he's only 23 years old. I just think that he's got that it factor about him that just makes you really want to believe in him. Like he really makes you think that he can really take this team far. Keep in mind, it wasn't that long ago that he already led the Timberwolves to the conference finals. One could argue that he should have been the team or the player to take his team to the finals last season. But if you really look at the path that he had to take just to get to the conference finals, although it wasn't maybe as difficult as, say, Luca and the Mavs did, it was still considerably pretty difficult. I mean, he was still 22, he's still young. And at that time, too, he didn't really have a super duper reliable number two because Karl Anthony Towns, you never really know what you were going to get. But really, it was by the time they saw the Mavs last season in the conference finals, he was gassed out. It was very obvious. The one person that Ant probably doesn't want to talk crap to is Kyrie Irving, because in that series, Kyrie Irving tore him apart, torched him, and really made him run, which is another reason why arguably you could think as a Warriors fan, this could be a remix of last season. Because if you look at the amount of motion, a lot of the things that were going on in that playoff series against the Mavericks, Kyrie was moving around a lot, getting a lot of cuts, a lot of screens, a lot of action. The same thing times 20 is going to happen with Steph Curry. So to me, it's almost like with Steph Curry being the person that, Ant's going to have to guard, or, Conley's going to have to guard. I mean, Conley hasn't really shown up either so far in this series, mainly because he hasn't had to. But I don't know. Like I said, I just believe Ant. I think he's going to show up. I think he's going to try to really assert himself. He's already started his little Legends arc right now since last season. Started with KD and then Jokic, and obviously this season with LeBron. Steph, man, I mean, to me, like, I think he's willing to accept the challenge.
Does he
But one
take
thing I
the
do want
throne
to,
next or what? Does he take the
you know
throne?
what? I'm not gonna lie. I might be a fan now. I might want to see him take the throne because it only makes basketball even more exciting. And
Yeah.
I want to see who's the next guy up, because LeBron's time is coming up pretty soon. He's only got maybe 2 or 3 more years at best, in my opinion. I think he wants to stay long enough to see Bryce. We'll make a video about all that stuff, Lakers wise and whatnot. But who's next? One could say it's Shea, one could say it's Jokic, one could say it's Luka. But at the same time, something about Anthony Edwards is like the word is he's your favorite player's favorite player to watch. So to me, it's like he's got the smile, he's got the charisma, he's got the swag, the confidence. He's got a lot of the tangible things that you want to see as the person who carries the franchise. And
He's
one
got the
could
baby
argue,
mamas.
I'm not about to go into that, my guy. Hey, we talking on the court. You got to work on the off the court stuff, but on the
Oh,
court,
shoot, man.
he's
Well,
definitely
I thought
he's
this was
definitely
the
there.
courtside podcast. I mean, they're sitting courtside.
This ain't no off the court side. Well, yeah, it's true. But yeah, man. And you know what? Just to quickly go into our next topic here, you mentioned this, and as you guys are reading in the thumbnail, this is really, to me, what I think might actually determine the series. Okay, I want to know: do you think Draymond can keep his cool in this series? Because that doesn't say series, it says Syria, but we're gonna pretend it says series, right? Do you think that Draymond's gonna be able to keep his cool in this series? Because one could argue if he doesn't, it's gonna be like the 2016 versus the Cavs all over again. What I mean by that is right now he currently has, thank you, my boy. He currently has 4 technicals and I think like 2 flagrants. He is literally 2 technicals away from being suspended. Now,
Anthony Edwards is literally one technical away from being ejected. So can both of them keep
in the
their cool?
playoffs, where they
No,
start
like,
0, because in the because hold on now, because in the playoffs you start back at 0.
oh,
So in the playoffs, if you get 6 technicals, after that 6 technical, you're basically gonna have to sit out and you're suspended for that next game. So I think Anthony Edwards
really?
is actually clean. He's back to 0 now.
Oh, shoot. I did not know that.
Yeah.
I legit thought that they continue it. No,
Nope.
that's an interesting point.
And
Okay,
that's a
interesting.
great thing to learn too for viewers that are not maybe as aware. So with technical fouls during the regular season, after you hit, I believe it's 16, after that you have to, you hit a suspension, and then after that, if you hit 18 and so on, it's like double digits afterwards, you're suspended. But in the playoffs, it's zeros. So Draymond already managed to accumulate like 4 technicals playing the Rockets. I mean, he multiple times was hitting Jalen Green in the face. One moment it was him. The next moment it was Şengün in the post.
Then
The next
Tari
moment it
Eason.
was Tari Eason. The next moment it was Fred VanVleet. So that's how we managed to get 4. Can you imagine what's going to happen when he has to see Rudy Gobert? That's why I'm telling you, man, this series is going to be interesting because it's not just the on the court stuff, it's the between the lines. And if there's anybody who gets away with the most on the court when it comes to avoiding technical fouls, it's Mr. Draymond Green. I don't understand it. I don't know why. It annoys the crap out of me because as much as other players complain a lot to the refs, Draymond damn near blasts the refs and get away with it. As soon as he gets that one tech, he already knows I'm good. I can say what I want to say and nothing happens. But I guess that's just the league we live in, man. But I just want to present that question. Do you think this is a series that Draymond's going to be able to keep his cool or no? Do you think it's going to get the best of him?
Well, he's pretty petty. He's pretty petty. And if you just saw that video that he posted after they beat the Rockets about, I think it was Tari Eason, I think either last year or the year before, when the Rockets were this close to taking, I want to say it was last year. It was the Rockets were literally right behind in 11th place, fighting for the play-in position that the Warriors were having, and like the Rockets went on this like really long like winning streak at the end of the season. We were like one game behind the Warriors to get the final play-in spot or something like that. And then the Warriors and Rockets played, and I want to say the Rockets actually won that game, but then they still ended up falling out of the play-in. But the Rockets, I think Tari Eason, he made this video where he was just teasing the Warriors. He was just like, Warriors, Warriors, come out and play. And then literally Draymond Green reposted that like yesterday after they beat the Rockets. And so you already know like Draymond was keeping the receipts. um, I there's like this is a matchup made in heaven for the fans because like if you already know and you already seen it, you follow the NBA, you know that Draymond Green had Rudy Gobert in a chokehold. And I think that was the first thing that happened of the downfall of Draymond, I want to say last year, when that happened, and then a sequence like a week later, then he had a problem with I think it was Jonas Valanciunas. Um, yeah, I think it was Jonas Valanciunas or another center, and he literally like hit the center like in the face or something like that, and it was like so intentional you could see it. But in that like 2 week stretch or something like that, when that happened, Rudy Gobert and then the center, I want to say Jonas Valanciunas, but
It was
sorry
actually
if I'm wrong.
fact check real quick. It was Yusuf Nurkic.
Ah, yes, another name that starts with a J. Yusuf
Yeah.
Nurkic. That's who it was. And
Yep.
then Draymond Green ends up getting like sent out of the league for like timeout for like I want to say 2 weeks or 3 weeks, and he had to go on this like
I think it was
list
almost like, yeah, I think it was like a
a month
15. I
or
almost
something
want to
like
say like
that.
15-game suspension. It was
Yeah,
very odd.
yeah, and it was like, wasn't it him that had to have like the list, like where he had to go to therapy or something like that, and do this and this before he can get back in the league? But it was the weirdest thing I had ever seen in my life. I was like, bruh, he's a full grown man. He's almost a grandpa. It's just like, and honestly, it made me happy as a fan because I'm like, bro, Draymond needs to be humbled. The dude, honestly, is so smart though because he's able to get away with those technicals and all that and like saying whatever he wants to because the refs have like a tolerance to it where like they just know that, oh, it's just Draymond being Draymond. But like when a player who doesn't act like that all the time does it, they're like, "Whoa, what the heck, man? Alex Caruso, he just cussed at me." Like, "Oh my god, T," And then it's like Draymond does it, and then he does it really bad and does something, and then like he gets teed up, and then as soon as he gets teed up, he knows he can go a little bit farther, and he just goes ham on the refs, and I'm just like, bruh, like I get it that if they were to just give a technical to Draymond every single time he opened his mouth, he wouldn't even be playing, and then they would just be losing money because all the time he'd be out of the games or he'd be suspended or whatever like that. So it's just like it's fucked up, man. Like, excuse my language, but like at this point, it's kind of like, bro, it's just not fair sometimes. But it is what it is. I don't think Draymond will be able to keep his cool. I think he will actually end up losing is cool to the point where it cost the Warriors one of these games, but I honestly hope that I see it. I want to see another Rudy Gobert chokehold after what he did to the Lakers in the last game. It's not even fair. But what do you think?
Oh man, you know what? To be honest with you, this may not be like the hottest take, but I would just love to see. I just want to see good basketball, man. I just want to see these two teams really go at it, but not go at it to a point where it gets like ugly. You know what I mean? I some people, like you said, they're totally fine with seeing like this maybe become like a fighting match in some ways. But for me, I don't want there to be any excuses. I hope there's no injuries in this series. I hope that if there is fights, I hope that there's not fights to the point where we see any suspensions because it's just going to breed excuses for the opposition in terms of oh, what could have happened, what should have happened. But to me, I just want to see some good, clean, Warriors, Wolves basketball where we get a chance to see really everything that we could look for. Just to kind of move along here, so the video is not too long. Just want to kind of go over a couple quick points here. What I want to know, and I'm going to kind of actually touch on this one first, is what do you think the Wolves need to do in order to win this series? Now, me personally, I think that in terms of what needs to happen for the Wolves, is you can take some of what you guys did against the Lakers and apply it to the Warriors because just like the Lakers, the Warriors lack that size. Right now, they're starting Draymond Green at center. Draymond Green is 6'7". Even though Draymond Green is a great defensive player, 6'7" compared to 7'1" is very big. It's a very big difference. Not to mention you have size with Jaden McDaniels, Julius Randle, Anthony Edwards is about 6'3", 6'4", but does he play like that? Absolutely not. Anthony
Don't
Edwards
forget about
arguably
Nas
plays like
Reed.
he's 6'6" as well. My point exactly. Nas Reed, too, coming off the bench. And not only is he coming off the bench at 6'9", but he could literally stretch you out with a three, which you have to respect, or he can take you off the dribble and take it to the rim. So they have so many liable and viable options on the Wolves that is to the point where you just gotta, like I said, I think you just gotta kind of come in to this series ready to step on the Warriors next because especially now that the Warriors have somebody like Jimmy Butler on their team, you got to think that mentally you're not going to win that game with them. Anthony Edwards, you're a great player, but don't get too much in the motion. Don't get too much in the moment. Don't try to make this like a you versus him type of thing. When I say him, I mean Draymond because we all know what's out there about him saying why he wants to go up against the Warriors is because he gets sick and tired of hearing a Draymond Green talking that mess online and in person and all that stuff. Just this is your chance, and LeBron literally passed you baton. He said, "Take it to the next level." This is a series. I want to see you not just be good physically, not just be good on the game, but I want to see you be good mentally because that's what separates the good players from the great players, especially in heightened moments. So this is your opportunity, and I want to see it be done. But in terms of the Wolves, you got to use your size. Obviously, that is a big advantage that you guys have, your size. And then defensively, use your length. If you use your length, and you try to force their perimeter players more as interior paint players, drive cut players, you will live with them cutting to the hole to get a layup versus them getting these wide open threes that we saw often in the Rocket series. Give up the easy bucket if you need to, or at least can like force them to Rudy Gobert because it's not going to be that easy. He'll be good to contest it at least versus just giving all these wide open threes. Um, but that's my take for the Wolves. What I want to know for your take is what's your take going to be for the Warriors? What do the Warriors need to do in order for them to win the series?
The Warriors are gonna have to do what the Lakers tried to do, which they did for a good, honestly, for the series. They did pretty good containing Ant, except for I want to say it was Game 4 where he went off for like 43 points. But just double Ant and get the ball out of his hands, get him out of rhythm, and make sure that you let the other guys try to score. because like you're gonna have a better shot. I feel like doing that. I don't feel like the Wolves can replicate that hot shooting from the other players all so often. I mean, to be honest, like I said, the Lakers weren't even really equipped to play against a big team, and yet the games were close. We just couldn't close the games is the problem. If we could have closed the games, shit, it'd be a different story, but different day, different story. Um, but I just think that the Warriors need to really capitalize on um, either going small or I'm really interested to see that Draymond Rudy Gobert matchup because it's like you're right, height difference here, right? But Draymond Green is no just normal 6'7" player. I mean, the dude can hold people back. The dude can guard it. I don't know how he gets away with it most of the time, but them moving screens, yeah, I'm talking to you, Warriors fans. You know what I'm talking about. The moving screens, all right.
They're like,
Hell
what are
no,
you talking
man.
about, man? Those are all
They be
legal,
getting away with
100%.
them, and I'm like, don't get it. I don't get how, but they just do. But either way, I think that it's just all about getting the ball out of Ant's hands and letting the other guys score. Because what we're gonna see how game one goes, but I think that that's going to be the strategy is getting it out of Ant's hands because as soon as he starts getting going, like it's trouble and paired, So it's that's kind of how I think, but that's kind of how the series is going to go. What's your prediction now, Vince?
Yeah, great segue here, my guy, to our last one here. So predictions. I'm gonna put some respect on Steph Curry and the Warriors, but I'm also gonna be realistic. So beware, Warriors fans. Please don't come after me. I think that the Timberwolves are gonna come out on top, but I don't think it's gonna be similar to the Lakers, where it's gonna be only in five. I do think that this will go to at least game six. Um, I do want to put a caveat that if the Warriors do go in and take this first game on the road, just like all these other road teams have done so far in the second round, I might be willing to change my opinion. I think that if the Warriors get game one, I could see this going 7 games. And at that point, even though it is a road game, I do see a world where the Warriors come out on top because I'm sorry, time and time again, Steph Curry just proves it don't matter who the opposition is. He's that guy. He's the guy who you don't want to play in a game seven, Mr. Clutch himself. Like, you don't want to play the Warriors in a game seven. So, in my opinion, if it goes to a game seven, the Warriors are coming out on top. But if the Wolves can take care of business at least for game one, I do think that the Wolves will probably end up winning in at least 6 games. I don't think this is going to be like a sweep or a gentleman's sweep. I think that there's just too much respect for the Warriors at that point. But with that being said, what do you think your prediction is, and why do you think that team's going to come out on top?
All I gotta say is, um, Ant can't plant. Warriors in 4. It's a sweep. Bring out the brooms. Warriors in 4. I just don't see it. I just don't. I respect the Wolves, but unfortunately, you couldn't even get a Lakers team. You could barely close out. I mean, you could barely win the games when we got no center. Now you got one of the best centers that we've seen in the league. I mean, not best centers, but like he was in the running for Defensive Player of the Year, and honestly, it was a toss up. But the Warriors can close. The Warriors can close. I'm telling you, brother. Warriors in 4.
This is so off script, man. I don't even know what to say, bro. I mean,
Be surprised. Be surprised. Just wait. Just
you know
watch.
what? Go get yourself a lottery ticket if the Warriors sweep the Wolves, because there is no way in hell that is happening, my friend. If I'm wrong, bro, I'm not kidding. Go to the nearest casino in Spokane,
Book
Washington,
it.
and go get
Book it
yourself
right
some
now.
money, because the likelihood of that happening, you know what, guys?
I'll tell
We're
you.
gonna end
I'll
on.
tell you right now.
Go ahead.
What were we gonna say? Sorry.
I was about to end the show, man, because you just said the craziest thing
No.
I heard. What you got to say,
No.
Les?
You know what? This is the hot take. That's not even a hot take.
Oh my God,
It might be a hot
you're
take,
scaring me
but
now.
the thing is here. The Warriors only had a problem with the Rockets, I feel like, because they're young. I do want to say that the Wolves are not exactly okay. What you got, Mike Conley? He's older. I mean, is it a young team or is it a middle team, like middle-aged team? The Wolves. Give me a quick answer.
They're
Young,
pretty
middle?
young. They're pretty
They're
young. I
pretty
mean,
young.
they're pretty young.
Okay.
In terms of like their like cast of players, or for the most part, like the players that they typically play with, they're all
Mm-hmm.
pretty young. I mean, you got Anthony Edwards, he's obviously 23. Jaden McDaniels, he's 24. Julius Randle, like, just hit his early 30s.
Okay. Yeah.
Gobert's in
Mm-hmm.
his early 30s. I mean, most of
Mm-hmm.
them, they're fairly young. Even Nas Reed's still young. Like, they still have a pretty young team for the
Okay.
most part.
Yeah.
It's the
So
older team is actually the Warriors. The Warriors have a much older team, because you got
yeah, the
your
Warriors are older
three
for
of your
sure.
starting five
It's over
are in their
35.
and not just in their 30s, they're in their mid to late 30s. So
Right. See, and that's the thing is I just I don't see the Wolves, to me, weren't as fast paced. Like they had their moments, but it didn't seem like a Pacers team, or like, you know, even a Thunder team. Like it didn't seem like that fast paced. That's what I think is gonna, I don't know, it's just the shooting, the experience. It's gonna hurt the Wolves, but book it right now. Ant can't plant. Warriors in 4.
that's
Buy
gonna
my
be it
tickets
for the
now.
show, guys. Listen, man. I don't know if this video is ever gonna even be shown in public to people or not at this point. But if it does, and if it somehow manages to get into the hands of Mr. Anthony Edwards, I'm here to tell you, my friend, as a Kobe Bryant fan, as a Laker fan, look, man, I respect you. I respect you enough to pick you at least in 6. And game 7s, I mean, I haven't seen you enough in game 7s to be able to root for you on that. Whereas Steph, I have seen many a times, and many times he has come out on top. But I will never disrespect you like this man right here just did, claiming that you're getting swept. So I'm gonna leave it at that. But again, you guys, welcome to the Russ and Vince Courtside Podcast. We're covering all NBA league stuff for throughout the playoffs, really, man. And if you enjoy the video, go ahead and hit a like. Let us know your thoughts as well. Do you think the Warriors are going to come out top? Do you think the Wolves are going to come out top? Why? Leave a comment down below. And of course, if you enjoy, or you got friends that enjoy, go ahead and share the video as well. But other than that, man, till next time, and salute.
All right, I got this. Hold up.
That's a wrap for today's episode of the Russ and Vince Courtside Podcast, where we bring you the hottest NBA moments, discussions, and everything in between. If you like today's show, hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on those notifications so you never miss a Courtside Podcast again. That's a wrap for today's episode of the Russ and Vince